matter of the 4 Sakota Casares children, file 24054.
We are on record today following the filing of an emergency petition yesterday requesting the removal of one child in placement in foster care and placement of a number of other children with a legal parent. Their well, as a respondent father, placement with that father. And that order was signed last night. It has been circulated to all of the attorneys who've had an opportunity to review that with their clients. And I look forward to developments as part of our preliminary hearing this morning after appearances, beginning with our guardian ad litem.
Good morning, Nicole Underwood, appearing as the legal guardian ad litem for the children.
Ms. Sasha Thomas, counsel for the department. Ms. Salinas.
Emily Salinas with the department.
Would you spell that for us, please?
Salinas.
Is it Emily?
Emily, yes.
Thank you. E-M-I-L-Y.
Yes. And then Salinas, S-A-L-I-N-A-S.
Thank you.
Michael McFarland, representing father, Mr. Ford. Please introduce yourself, Christopher.
Christopher Ford, father of Hendricks, Christian, Liva, and Billy, and wife.
Karen Dumont from mother, Miss Ford.
Your name, please.
Brittany Ford.
Thank you. All right. We've also asked Ms. Berger to stay with us on behalf of a potential father of the youngest child in this case. Ms. Thomas, do we have his name? Do we?
Your Honor, on the petition, there's a name that was provided to the workers, I believe, about a potential putative father. It came to my attention this morning that apparently mom has provided the department with other information. After speaking with Ms. Dumont, it seems that there's perhaps an Andrew Casares who may be the putative father and is interested in DNA testing.
All right. So thank you for joining us, Ms. Berger, and that will potentially be your client in the event that he's determined to be the legal parent.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Very good. All right. So let's go to our attorneys for the parents. Would you please confirm whether or not your clients have received the petition, articulate any potential Native American heritage searches that need to be done in some of the other preliminaries, Mr. McFarland?
Yes, sure. My client has received the petition. He would waive its reading in court. He does believe his mother's indicated to him Native American heritage on her side. She is alive and she can be contacted regarding that. It's my client's intention, Your Honor, to admit the allegations in the petition and ask that we proceed to a creation of a case service plan and a disposition entry on that. My understanding is his biological children with mother are with him, and that's the intent for them to remain in his custody. His plans are to go over to Hillsdale County, where the divorce took place, and ask for physical custody there.
Do you know, are there any other cases that would concern these children, or is it just the Hillsdale case?
Just the Hillsdale case, my client informs me.
All right, Ms. Dumont, have you talked with your client about whether or not she would like to exercise her right to have the petition read onto the record in its entirety, or if she would waive that?
Your Honor, she would waive that. She has received a copy and we've reviewed that. She intends on pleading no contest to the allegations contained and does want to request voluntary case services between now and the next court date.
Thank you. Does she know of any potential Native American heritage in her family?
None, Your Honor.
Good. And of any other cases that would concern any of her children other than the Hillsdale case?
No, Your Honor.
Or if I might add, I have advised my client of his rights. I presume the court's going to be doing the same again.
As part of a plea?
Mhm.
Okay, very good. All right, one thing that doesn't come up during the plea itself is that any legal parent who is a respondent in these proceedings has the right to an attorney, which is why we have these attorneys with you here today. They will be with you in all subsequent hearings as well, and be able to assist you in presenting your case. What is the reason for the request for no contest plea?
No responsibility.
All right, could you give me a little more detail on that? Is it a particular allegation or?
Your Honor, with regards to the factual allegation in number 15, I think especially that's definitely not true. And then also with regards to the drug screen that was done today, I don't think necessarily to plead, but no contest at this point.
All right, do you, can you hear her okay?
Yeah.
All right, could you articulate a little bit more on that point, because that's something that's not really in the record or anywhere else?
Yes, Your Honor, I do believe she was drug screened today by her probation officer, and there was a few things found in that drug screen. She indicates to me that she's ready to plead no contest with regards to the allegations. We've discussed them. She does believe that the caseworker could prove at least one by 51%. So.
All right, your position, Ms. McFarland, if any?
Support whatever her attorney and her have decided.
Ms. Thomas?
I think, Your Honor, I do believe that there are grounds for possible criminal liability in this case, and we are prepared to put on a factual basis.
Very good. Any position on that, Ms. Underwood?
Yes, I believe at this point in time, it is in the best interest of the children for the youngest to be removed, as well as the children to be replaced, the other children to be placed with their fathers.
Would you find it in their interest if the court were to accept a no contest plea from mother, understanding that there may be some criminal liability associated with allegations of sex trafficking, as well as a positive drug screen this morning that could impair her presentation?
Yes, Judge.
And for me to accept a plea by Mr. Four as well, as it relates to the other children?
Yes, I believe that that's appropriate at this time.
Great. Anything else before I take the plea? Actually, let's deal with the, are you going to be requesting a DNA test as it relates to Mr. Casares?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Any objections to that?
None.
No.
All right. Do you find that to be in the interest of the children, Ms. Underwood?
I'm sorry, Judge?
There's been a request to allow the department or order the department to facilitate a DNA test for Mr. Andrew Casares and the youngest child to determine whether or not he's a legal father. Do you find that to serve the child's interests?
Yes, Judge. Thank you.
Very good. All right. I'll need you both to listen carefully as we make our way through the advice of rights associated with your decision to enter a plea this morning. Deputy Ames, would you mind swearing in Ms. Brittany Ford and, I'm sorry, what was your name again? Christopher Ford. Thank you.
Did you want these forms used, Your Honor?
Sure, yes. This is a written advice of rights that will reflect largely what I'm going to go over with you in court here today. But that will allow you to review that later if you need.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Speak up. Yes.
All right, very good. Is it true, Mr. Ford, that you wish to enter a plea taking responsibility for the allegations in the petition? That just means that you're going to be admitting what's in the petition and asking for services.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Brittany Ford, is it true that you also would like to admit what's in the petition by way of no contest plea?
Yes.
Okay. No contest plea means you wouldn't have to go line by line admitting everything, but that I would take those allegations in the petition as essentially true and ask the department to organize services around those. Do you understand that?
Because I'm not saying that. I don't
Your Honor,
want to
she's
assume anything is
indicating-
true.
She's indicating that some of the
That's absolutely not
allegations
true.
are not true, but we did discuss that just one had to be found true. So she understands that.
All right, I appreciate that inquiry. Are you satisfied with that to proceed, Ms. Thomas?
Your Honor, as you're well aware, I'm pretty, I guess, conservative when it comes to these things, just because I often have to deal with the appeals. I want to ensure that mom's rights are protected. She has a right to a trial to dispute these allegations. I don't want to counsel mom on that point, but I'm going to note that. I don't know that we're in a position for a plea.
I understand.
Okay.
So Ms. Ford, it is important that you understand that I would be evaluating all of those facts that are in the petition. You wouldn't have to say anything either one way or the other about it. But part of what I'm going to go over with you is that we're going to put a plan together, the department's going to put a plan together to try to help support you in those areas. And I will consider those true for purposes of our hearing. Do you understand that? Do you wish to enter your no contest plea understanding that? Ms. Underwood, are you satisfied with that for purposes of me moving forward?
I am satisfied after the clarification and confirmation by the mother, yes.
Thank you. All right, Mr. and Ms. Ford, if I accept your plea, either by no contest or just as you've offered it, you are giving up your right to a trial by judge or trial by jury. You're giving up your right to have the petitioner prove the allegations in the petition by a preponderance of the evidence, the right to have witnesses against you appear and testify under oath at trial, the right to cross-examine those witnesses with the assistance of your attorneys, the right to have the court subpoena any witnesses that you believe could give testimony in your favor. Do you understand that you'll be giving up or waiving the rights I've just indicated to you if you enter no contest plea and or simply a plea? All right, I'm sorry, Ms. Ford, was that a yes or no? Sorry,
Yes.
Thank you. With regard to the consequences of your plea, or in other words, what will happen, the court will do the following. There will be continued investigation by the caseworker to see what the problems are in your family and how and whether they can be solved. The court could dismiss the case if there's no need for the court to be involved. If it appears that there is a problem that may be solved, the court can make the children temporary wards of the court, place them with mother or father or with relatives or in a foster home, and order programs for you and your children, such as counseling, drug and alcohol treatment, assessments, and parenting classes. If it appears that you will not be able to provide a proper home for the children, excuse me. Seems like whenever I start talking, I do not. If it appears that you will not be able to provide a proper home for the children in the reasonably foreseeable future, the court could terminate your parental rights. With regard to the plea itself, the plea can also later be used as evidence in a proceeding to terminate your parental rights. Do you understand the consequences of your plea, Mr. Ford?
Yes.
Ms. Ford?
Yes.
Thank you. Do you have any questions about any of the information I've given you so far, Mr. Ford?
No.
Ms. Ford?
No.
Well, we already know that Ms. Ford has tested positive for some substances. Ms. Ford, do you believe that what you tested positive for is getting in the way of you understanding what you're doing this morning?
No.
All right. Mr. Ford, are you under the influence of substances or anything else that could get in the way of you understanding what you're doing this morning?
No, ma'am.
All right. Is anyone making you admit to the allegations in the petition, Ms. Ford?
No.
Mr. Ford?
No.
Has anyone threatened you in order to get you to admit to the allegations in the petition, Ms. Ford?
No.
Mr. Ford?
Nope.
Would you say that anyone has promised you anything in order to get you to enter a plea today, Mr. Ford?
No.
Ms. Ford?
No.
Would you say your decision to enter a plea is one you've made of your own free will, Ms. Ford?
Yes.
Mr. Ford?
Yes.
Very good. All right, Mr. McFarland, traditionally, your client would place the admissions on the record. Which of the paragraphs would you like me to evaluate for that purpose?
I knew you were gonna ask me that. I'm looking through. It will be the paragraphs that states that he knew of mother's condition and he did nothing effectively to intervene, which would constitute negligence. In addition to the prior criminal history or the CPS history. So 22 is a prior CPS history. And just a second here, that would be number 19. He's allowed Brittany for access to her children despite DHHS recommendations not to allow it. And number 20, he's aware of her substance abuse and continues to allow Brittany unsupervised access to all the children. And then 18 also, which is he is not a perpetrator, however, there are significant concerns for Christopher's ability to parent. Now we'll take that back without oversight from the court. So he will accept any and all assistance that can be provided through a case service.
Are you satisfied with the factual? Well, we've got to do the factual basis for the no contest plea, so let's go to that next.
Thank you, Your Honor. I will have Ms. Lena sworn in to provide the factual basis.
Salinas, come on up to where I placed.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, Your Honor, just need to get organized real quick. Ms. Salinas, can you state your role in this matter or how you were familiar with this case?
I am the CPS investigator in the case.
And the petition that is before the court today, did you draft that?
Yes.
And as the investigator in this matter, how did you learn about the allegations that you have included in the petition? So that's, I'm wondering more about your investigatory process. So whether that's contacting family members, having eyes on, anything of that nature.
Yes, so I verified the children in the school, and then I made contact with Brittany and with Chris.
And in your petition, you've indicated that you made several attempts to engage with Ms. Ford to provide services. Can you briefly elaborate what those attempts were and what services were offered?
So there were multiple attempts to engage with Brittany, but she did not want to cooperate with me. There were many attempts when I would ask about her whereabouts, and she would lie about her whereabouts.
And was that through like a phone call or a text message or how?
A phone call.
And you've also indicated that she, I guess maybe during one of the times she did communicate with you, she reported to having received her income tax money, but that within a very short amount of time, that money was expended and she still had not provided her children with basic needs.
Yes.
And there's an allegation that there are concerns that Brittany was under the influence while caring for her children. Can you elaborate more on that?
With my interaction?
Yes, it says that during unannounced visits, Brittany was under the influence while caring for the children.
Yes, so there was one time I went to the hotel because Brittany asked for assistance, so I went to the hotel to assist her. And then during this, she seemed to be under the influence. And then Chris showed up at the hotel because we asked him to come and pick up the children. And he even stated that she was under the influence.
And were you able to verify that with any voluntary drug screens?
No, she refused.
You indicated in your petition that maybe the morning of Easter, there were people over and there was a physical altercation between attendees at a gathering and one of the minor children was also harmed.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little more about how you found that information out?
So I received a new intake the day after Easter, I believe on the 1st, stating that Brittany was involved in a domestic incident and her child was struck during this incident.
Were you able to speak with that child?
Yes.
Okay. And did they confirm that allegation?
Yes.
Were you able to speak to any of the other children?
Yes.
And during your interactions with the older, there's an allegation in here that the first complaint that came in was that mom was providing Billy Ann with babes and alcohol. Did you confirm that with Billy Ann?
Yes.
Is there any other details that Billy Ann shared with you about her experiences with her mother?
Yes. She shared incidents that involved physical abuse. She stated that there was an incident where she was struck in the jaw to the point where she thought that her jaw was broken. She has stated she has witnessed mom use substances in front of her multiple times. And mom making inappropriate comments about allowing men to come over and do whatever they wanted to her.
Were there any other additional?
Can you switch to 6?
No, this is the truth. Were there any other allegations about potential sex trafficking of herself or her children?
No.
One of the allegations also is that Brittany had failed to seek appropriate medical attention for her youngest child, that there were obvious concerns for this baby, labored breathing, and that mom reported she would take the child.
Yes, so
I made contact with mom via phone call, and I could hear in the phone call a really concerning cough, and we stated that, hey, you should go and take this child to go see a doctor. A few days later, we went and we seen the baby, and we noticed the labored breathing, and we stated then and there that this baby needs medical attention right away. The next day, she stated that she took him to the ER. We called all the ERs in Adrian. We called all the urgent cares, and they said that they had no prior knowledge of her admitting the child. And then we made face-to-face with Brittany the next day. She said that he was prescribed medication and he had solution for a nebulizer. She would not provide us with proof of the medications and the solution along with discharge papers. But she said that he was getting better, but as we were there, we noticed that he was still coughing and breathing the same way. So,
Mary, may I approach the witness?
You may.
Ms. Salinas, I'm gonna hand you my phone. Were you part of the pickup yesterday for the child?
yes,
And does this image that you're looking at on my phone, can you describe for the record what you're looking at is?
can you play it?
Well, not yet, I mean,
Okay.
but
yes.
from this like screen.
Yes,
portion,
yes.
Can you tell us?
It is a video of Kai in his car seat of his breathing.
Okay, and you took this video?
My coworker Chelsea
Okay.
did, yes,
And what was the purpose of taking this video?
to capture how bad his breathing was in that moment.
Mary, may I play the video for the record?
Objections?
No objection, I've been shown the video.
No objection.
No objection.
So that raspy sound, that's the child's breathing?
Yes,
Thank you. And, I'm providing Ms. Salinas with a one-page document. Ms. Salinas, can you tell me what that document is?
so this is discharge papers from after we dropped him off at the hospital. It states that Kai tested positive for a parainfluenza virus along with a bacterial pneumonia.
And then, let's see. Can you actually just read the instructions on that discharge summary in its entirety?
Yeah. Your child was evaluated in the emergency department today due to cough and increased work of breathing. He was found to be positive for parainfluenza virus as well as diagnosed with bacterial pneumonia. We recommend continuing to monitor for symptoms of increased work of breathing, including and subcostal retractions or breathing fast. To treat his pneumonia, he was given a dose of amoxicillin here in the emergency department, but he will need to complete his course outpatient for 5 days. His other labs were largely unremarkable through he was found to be positive for both cocaine and amphetamines in his drug screen. There is nothing else that needs to be done based on these findings. We do recommend establishing with a PCP and getting him followed up within the next 1 to 2 days to monitor his symptoms. If you have any concerns, please bring him back to the emergency department.
How old is Kai?
11 months.
Are you aware of what substances mom tested positive for today?
Yes,
Can you just tell us what your knowledge is of that?
she tested positive for cocaine and amphetamines. I mean, nothing.
Okay. Is there a reason why you had asked the doctors to perform a drug screen?
On our way to the hospital, mom provided us with a blanket, a toy, a bottle, and some formula. This was a 50-minute trip, so on the way we noticed he was getting hungry, and I was in the back seat with the baby, and I went to go make him a bottle. When I opened the bottle and I smelled the bottle, it smelled of intense alcohol, or like it just had a really strong odor to it. And I did not feel comfortable giving him formula out of that bottle. So we thought it'd be a good idea to get him tested.
And then the other allegations contained in here regarding her CPS history, how did you become aware of that background?
We got a new intake this morning. Is that what?
Oh, no, so I'm asking about, in the petition, there's a CPS history paragraph.
Yes.
And so how did you become aware that she had a CPS history?
Through investigating?
Did you like run her name through
Yes.
by SACWIS or
Yes, I
central
ran
registry?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And it sounds like there's been, based on this, it looks like there's been substantiated CPS history regarding placing children at unreasonable risk, improper supervision, physical abuse, and threatened harm. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Thank you. Your Honor, I've, no further testimony as relates to the factual basis.
Just one question, Your Honor. Could you share a copy after the court hearing of the document there regarding the child that you just read into the record?
That's not his child.
I realize that, but of what you just read into the record, could you share a copy of that?
The discharge
Your Honor,
record?
The discharge. yes.
if I may, Mr. McFarland, we had provided this to all attorneys of record so far.
Thank you. I acknowledge I've received it.
But I would ask, thank you, Mr. Crocker, for that, because I would ask that the court accept that document, and I do have a copy for the court.
Objections?
No objections.
No objection.
No objection.
Thank you, I will receive it. Thank you, Deputy. I'll mark it as petitioner's exhibit A for purposes of today. Any questions?
Just a few. Were you aware that Ms. Ford was struggling with homelessness throughout the pendency of this?
Yes.
And she indicated that she did take the 11-month-old to an urgent care and got medication for that.
That's what she stated, but then yesterday when we went to go pick him up, she didn't provide us with any of those medications.
Okay. And did Ms. Ford request any services from you?
She requested that we assist with a hotel stay, so we provided her with a 2-night stay at the Carlton Lodge.
Okay. Did she request some therapy or substance abuse treatment resources?
She asked for us to provide her with a list of meetings within the area for NA meetings, and I did send her a list of meetings within Adrian.
Was there any outpatient treatment provided or any resources that she could get that at some point?
No.
And she's indicating that she asked for therapy.
Yes.
Was any resources provided with regards to that?
No.
And why was that?
She made statements that she would like to get into therapy. I do also recall her stating that she would like to receive these treatments, but I guess, can you restate that question?
So would you be willing to provide her now before the next court date of some substance abuse treatment, any type of therapy or any, are you willing to work with her with regards to some rehabilitation?
Yes.
Thank you.
So my daughter.
Any questions, Ms. Underwood?
No questions at this time.
All right, are you satisfied with the advice of rights and the factual basis of the plea? Attorneys?
Yes.
I am.
Yes.
Yes.
I do have just one question, Your Honor, based upon.
Well, she's just up there right now for purposes of the factual basis of the plea. Did you have? something
Well,
along those
yeah,
lines?
based upon the petition, I just wanted to verify.
All right, go on.
You're still requesting that the children with my client, with Christopher, that they remain in his care and custody, is that correct?
Yes.
That's all, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seat. Okay. Well, as it relates to the plea, I do find the plea to be knowingly, understandably, and voluntarily made, with full understanding of the consequences. I further find the record supports that one or more of the allegations contained in the petition have been shown to be true, and that jurisdiction is appropriate under the sections that the department has requested the court review, 712A.2B1, neglecting the proper care or necessary support, education, medical care, specifically as it relates to the youngest child and mom. Unfortunately, as it relates to the father, allowing them to make his children to be cared for by their mother, understanding her significant substance abuse and how that interferes with her parenting. And of course, subsection 2, the children's home with the mother is home or environment is characterized certainly by that use of substances and potentially criminality. You know, she's hearing to us, having been recently apprehended, frankly, for a violation of probation and use of substances. And again, because the father has allowed the mother to caretake for the children under these conditions. It will be the order of the court that the children remain placed with, or I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 5 of the children, 5 or 6, 5 of them will be placed with Mr. Ford. And then we have 1 child who will be placed with a non-respondent father. And the final child, the youngest child, will remain in foster care. That is the safest and least restrictive under the circumstances, especially considering how ill he is at this point, and his extended needs and what's been identified as risks today on the record. We may have a legal father at our next juncture who will also be able to seek placement. But now would be your opportunity to make argument on any of those points on placement. Counselors?
Your Honor, we just stand behind the petition in our request. Thank you.
Mr. McFarland.
We support the testimony of the worker regarding the 5 children, remains my client.
Your client does have the right to seek placement today, clearly. Ms. Dumont, did you wish to make any argument as it relates to placement this morning?
I don't have, no objection.
Ms. Underwood, do you find that to serve the interest of the children?
I do, Your Honor, as long as the department continues to closely monitor Mr. Ford with the children. I think that the allegations in the petition are concerning, as well as the criminal and CPS history. But as long as the department is working with Mr. Ford, I believe that this is appropriate at this time.
All right, our next stage of proceedings will be the initial disposition for both parents. Between now and when we come back, the department or a representative of an agency will be reaching out to you to sit down and do some case services planning to target those areas that were identified today and try to get some services in place to support both of you on those points. We'll come back to review that, and the court will make that part of its orders moving forward as a way to look at whether or not you are making affirmative progress on those areas that have been identified as risk. And I have time available in the week of April 15th. Looks like Tuesday the 16th at 10 a.m. Would that work?
Judge, I'm out the 16th through 19th.
The 16th through the 19th?
Yeah.
So what about Monday the 15th at 2 o'clock?
That will work.
Checking my calendar, Your Honor.
Thank you. Monday the 15th at 2 o'clock p.m.
Your Honor, will we
Second.
have DNA test back by then?
I'm not sure we would have it that quickly, but we can try.
I don't think we would. We would probably at that point just have referrals on.
And Your Honor, my client would like to give another name for a possible
It's
father.
between 2 of them, and I would like both of them tested at the same time, because it would just make more sense.
The name is Josh Johnston. When I asked for contact information, she indicated he lives in Maple Village
In apartments.
in apartment 17.
I think that we have his contact information. He's listed in the petition, but I think I'll leave it to the department to discuss that referral with Mr. Casares as well as Mr. Johnson.
I can leave in the order both names.
Yeah, and then Your Honor, can we just also get a notice for putative father hearing to provide both gentlemen with that?
Yes, thank you.
Time are we looking at on the 15th, Your Honor?
2 o'clock p.m.
I'm available.
That works.
Okay, Ms. Underwood,
I'm available.
Ms. Berger,
I'm not, Your Honor, but if we don't have DNA tests back by then, I would be comfortable just getting notes from the other attorneys after the hearing.
Very good. All right. Well, we appreciate your flexibility on that point. I think you're probably right. So we'll go ahead with our initial disposition on these two parents and the father hearing on that date and move forward as it relates to the potential legal father for the youngest child as we have that information available to us. All other prior orders will remain in full force and effect except as modified today by the court's findings. Unless there's any questions, that's all for today. Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll
Thank
be
you.
working. Yep.